Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and we are back with more reactions for Hawkeye this week and this time for episode 2. So, getting on to the second part of this week's release. Episode 1, great, really great. Really enjoyed it. Very fun kind of opener for the season and for the story, and really kind of great kind of opening set piece and everything. Like a mix between calm and chaotic at times. So good in that sense, and a really fun introduction to Kate Bishop and who she is, and a little bit of what she's going to be like, and the kind of trouble that she's going to get up to with her skill set and her kind of drive and ambitions and everything. So fun stuff there, and a bit of Clint with his kids, actually trying to spend Christmas in New York with his kids before they go back to their mother and everything. So him trying and struggling to have a good time and everything, and then of course at the very end, his history comes back to haunt him as Kate literally dresses up as Ronin in his actual Ronin costume, and decides to take on a bunch of she runs into I think I actually found out some details. I think those guys she ran into at the very end, like they were wearing tracksuits and everything, so they are literally called the Tracksuit Mafia. They're wearing tracksuits, and I don't know if they wear tracksuits because they're called the Tracksuit Mafia, or if they're called the Tracksuit Mafia because they wear tracksuits. But either way, they're called tracksuits. They're called either way they wear tracksuits, and they also happen to be called the Tracksuit Mafia. But I think they are Russian. They are Russian. So like a mob of Russians called the Tracksuit Mafia. So that's interesting kind of name. And I mean, fashion choice, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's not uncanny for like gangsters and like mobs to wear like casual clothing and stuff, I guess. But interesting name choice, very interesting name choice. I guess it's easy to remember. Like, you literally look out for the dudes speaking Russian and wearing tracksuits and everything. So there's that. So then they were the Russians who actually came in originally for the actual kind of Ronin kind of gear as well. I think they actually ambushed and attacked the auction site to try and take away the Ronin's kind of sword, as well as his suit as well. And I think we know Jack, Kate's mother's kind of fiance, he actually has an interest in swords, and he especially took an interest to Ronin's sword too. So he was actually there to actually bid on the sword, and he picked it up in the end after the ambush. He picked it up, and he picked that up, and then Kate picked up the suit, so she's got the Ronin suit now. So there's that, and we had a bit of history to her too. Like, she lost her father during the Chitauri Battle of New York too. So she from then on, she kind of swore to herself that she would help defend herself and her mother from any future threats that came their way, be it human or alien. So she swore that, and then in an effort to make good on her promise, she went to all sorts of extracurriculars and trained herself to be the best that she could be, and it pays off. It's paid off, as we saw in her combat against the Tracksuit Mafia. It's definitely paid off. I think I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to take that name seriously. I mean, the fact that they wear tracksuits is fine, but then them literally naming themselves after their attire is, like, it's like the like the Tuxedo Mafia. Tuxedos are formal, and I think mobs are kind of known to wear kind of suits, I guess, maybe like to be formal more than they are casual, like a little bit. So I think tuxedos could kind of work, but the Tracksuit Mafia just, honestly, it sounds like an actual clothing line. It sounds genuinely sounds like an actual clothing line that sells sportswear, like the Tracksuit Mafia. Like, join us and you'll look good whenever you're working out, whenever you're exercising or something. Like, it genuinely sounds like a clothing line. So Tracksuit Mafia. So yeah, she kind of somewhat stood her ground against them until she got in the car, and then Clint came along and saved her and everything. So she is like a very kind of overachieving and very ambitious kind of archer, and she's very skilled in multiple ways. So there's that, and she looks great in a tux, as you saw in episode 1. She looks phenomenal in a tux. Yeah, I mean, well, I think that could still be counted as a tux. Right? I think tuxedos. I think because the tuxedos I'm familiar with have like a bow tie. But I think you can still probably wear either tie and still make it work. But she definitely made it work. She definitely made it work. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. I mean, I fully, I ranted about that, for like as fully as I could, or almost as fully as I could in the actual in that video. So I'm gonna leave that there for now, but she looked great in that. and she met Lucky the pizza dog too. I think towards the end, she kind of met Lucky the pizza dog, and then reunited with him on her way out of the ambushed auction center place kind of thing. And then he was actually trying to take down one of the drivers of the truck that was actually delivering all the stolen goods and everything. And then they teamed up and fought back and ran away. And then she left him at her apartment eating pizza before going back out again and running into the Tracksuit Mafia. So so there was that. So that was cool. And yeah, Clint is kind of struggling. He's just trying to have a nice, normal family Christmas with his kids in New York, and they went to see Rogers the Musical and were not really very amused or entertained by it. And then he's kind of having some PTSD kind of stuff with Endgame, like with having lost Natasha, and then having to deal with all the stuff afterwards. I mean Natasha was the one that he directly saw, like he still like she gave her life for him. She gave her life so that he could reunite with his family. But then I think he still lost Cap. Cap. I mean, Natasha was undeniably the one he was closest with, but then he still knew, and he was still friends with Steve and Tony and Thor and them lot, and like pretty much like his team as a whole has pretty much disbanded and gone their separate ways, and half of them have died and everything. So so yeah, and I mean I've read two different kind of source things. I've read two different extracts on this, but I don't know which one is right. So I think I've heard some people saying this is set 1 year after Endgame, and I've heard others saying that it's set 2 years. So I don't know which one is which. I don't know if it's actually 2 or 1 year. So then it's gonna, like, for safety's sake, like maybe like a year or a couple of years after Endgame. So I think it's been time, but I think for him clearly not enough time. Because I think it, like, I mean, even 5 years into the blip, people still hadn't gotten over, having lost half of their world, and like in a very, very literal sense. I think he lost his best friend, and he lost half his team, and he, just got his family back, and now his past is coming back to haunt him. So Clint really is just not gonna have the easiest time, and soon enough, he's gonna get his ass handed to him by Yelena in time too. So he's really not gonna have a good time of it this season in his own show, in a show named predominantly after him. He's really just not going to have a good time of it. So, yeah. So there's that. We met Eleanor Bishop as well, played by Vera Farmiga, Kate's mother, and she is a very, very interesting and very cool character so far. So interested to see where they go with her in this. So yeah, I think that's off the top of my head, that's pretty much all I think we really encountered. I think nothing too hectic or nothing too kind of packed or kind of anything like that. Just like a very, very simple opener and stuff. So episode 2 should probably episode 2 or 3 should probably be the one where things really kind of pick up the pace and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have got. And Clint has a hearing aid too. I've mentioned that last time. I forgot to mention it here now. Clint has a hearing aid too. So I'm really curious to see where they actually go, like how far they go with him being him now, and him maybe even being more kind of closer to his counterparts, and seeing how much they use that, and like how differently it makes him kind of like react to certain situations, or how differently it kind of makes him operate in day-to-day life and stuff like that. Because I think, looking back, I think I've actually only kind of edited part way through my reaction for episode 1. So I think rest assured, my reaction for episode 1 should be out before this one comes out. But yeah, as of recording this, I'm only part way through editing episode 1's reaction. But I think looking back through that footage, I think it looked like he actually did have his hearing aid actually muted, or maybe or lowered during the thing. So I think, and like considering they must have been at least halfway through the thing, because they said that they left halfway through. So then, considering they were halfway through it, I think at some point he actually must have actually lowered it or muted it or something, because he just couldn't stand to have to actually listen to it any longer. So that was actually the first time he actually had a hearing aid and everything. So there was that. So yeah, but Clint, he is utilizing that now, so it'll be cool to see how how he uses it in the future, and how it actually kind of plays into the story and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from the last one. So on to episode number 2, the reaction for episode number 2, and this one, as you guys will know by now, will just be the fair use version with highlights and best bits and whatnot. But if you want the full length version, the unedited version of the reaction, where you can watch the entire episode along with the reaction, then that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. Just need your own copy of the episode from Disney Plus, and you can sync it up and it'll be good to go. So that'll be fun too. But yeah, that is it. So Hawkeye season 1 episode 2. Let's go. So she lives above a pizza place. That's pretty neat. Yeah, just instant access to pizza. That's pretty cool. Oh, I told you should have ordered him more pizza. He ended up slaughtering the box. Poor guy was hungry.
Yeah, I inherited it.
You're 18?
Oh, she inherited it. Okay.
I'm 22.
Yeah, same thing.
So am I until December.
Totally cool. Just stay cool.
Just stay cool. Just act natural. Be cool. The Hawkeye.
Can you sign this?
Oh, signing her bow.
I'm not done yet.
Signing
But
her
when you
bow.
are, could you sign my bow? You're kind of my favorite Avenger.
Tracksuit Mafia.
That's
Yeah.
your name?
Yeah, I know. It's so.
That's a little on the nose, don't you think?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Do you think they're the ones that killed? I just dropped off the dog.
So they know where you live. Yeah, they know where you live.
And my name's on the buzzer.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Get up.
Oh, Molotov's. Oh, he's gonna do the thing. He breaks the window and throws it right back. Oh, no, he's gonna do the thing. Oh, he's gonna do the thing. There we go. Oh, oh, there we go. I love that. I love that. Yeah, have a taste of your own fire. Have a taste of your own fire. Oh. Oh. That is actually so cool. Okay, that's actually cool. Oh,
Grab the dog and go.
yeah, grab that dog. Do not let Lucky burn.
Come back for it.
Oh god, is the suit inflammable or non-flammable? The suit can withstand fire, right?
We need some supplies.
Hell yeah. Avenger supplies?
No, more just, you know, drugstore
Alrighty,
supplies.
Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
Bit of a letdown.
Sorry to disappoint.
She's fully expecting like high-tech Avengers level equipment. Yeah. Yeah. The reality of being a human Avenger. Yeah, you have to buy regular human shit.
Is it an Avengers tower?
Tony sold that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the hoodie. Classic MCU disguise. Just a hoodie. Yeah, and a jacket. I mean, hoodies are arguably better than baseball caps, maybe. Oh, well, and now he's going full-on impersonating a firefighter. Yeah. It's like some Hitman level, Hitman style impersonation. Yeah, just grabbing, you know, random costumes at every corner. Yeah, you just keep walking behind pillars and you just keep switching costumes. Yeah. Did the suit move? The suit kind of moved, right? No way the suit moved, unless someone moved it. NYC LARPers. Oh, the Renaissance people. The Renaissance people. Yeah, NYC LARPers. Is that what the suit's been taken? Did someone take it to LARPing? Is someone really going to go to the Renaissance thing dressed as Ronin?
Since when did everybody start saying I love you to everybody all the time?
Since when did your heart shrink 3 sizes?
When a little girl in ninja costume stole my Christmas.
You want to do is go perpendicular to it. You want to close it. This is helping singe. So we can mend to each other faster.
Medic Hawkeye. Kind of like it. Medic Hawkeye. Medic Clint. Medic Clint. Medic Clint.
Oh, I started to describe what I could remember of the tracksuit's faces.
Doughy faces. Sorry.
Guess I'm not an art major.
Nah. Is he on Instagram?
People always like grills when you get a new costume. Your costume looks pretty bad.
Did he get the Ronin one?
How about now?
He got the Ronin costume.
Sneaking and creeping is too late.
He picked up the Ronin costume. How? Is he a firefighter? He's a firefighter. He just saw an undamaged suit, a costume, at the scene of a crime and he just nicked it for himself.
I'll be back in the morning, buddy.
You're a good dog.
He is a really good dog. Someone to share pizza with. If you're the kind of person that shares your food, which not everyone is.
I love
Oh, he's using sign language!
I love you more.
Oh, they're using sign language!
What you gonna say, buddy?
I love that, I love that. They're using sign language, he uses sign language!
what's going on.
Oh god, that's amazing, I love that. I love it, I love it.
Investigation is underway. New York social
More
worker
pizza.
Armand Duquesne was if he may be responsible for Armand Duquesne's death and what he may
Oh, so he was spotted leaving the crime,
Wait,
the scene of the crime.
they think I'm that.
Told you that suit was bad news.
Well, they don't know it's Kate, right? They just know it's
That is
Ronin.
Gonna be late thanks to you.
Disney. Disney is in the MCU.
And to be clear, not 'cause I want to, just 'cause I need to.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, just constant bodily damage. Just constant bodily damage. Just yeah.
Hard to tell.
It eventually it took a toll. It took a toll on him. Yeah. Oh, Ant-Man. Oh, they got.
Katniss
Oh.
Everdeen, let's go.
Katniss Everdeen. Oh, they've even got actual impersonators and shit. Okay. Okay.
You are very contained. You keep your cards close to your vest, which you wear over a suit of armor and like 60 other layers of protection. All of which, under, finally, is your heart.
His heart is very armored. Very, very armored.
Here, put your phone number in here for emergencies only.
Just letting it ring through, so I have
Got you.
your
Yeah. Oh, so she has his
Emergencies
one too.
only, or I'll block and delete you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Imagine being blocked by Hawkeye.
Call you later.
No, please don't.
I got your number.
Yeah, she does. Oh, that's a really nice jacket. Like an orangey floral pattern. Oh, that's really good. Oh, it's a whole thing. It's a whole suit. That's a whole suit. Damn. This woman knows how to pull off colors and absences of such.
I bought a book about being a stepdad.
Money well spent, Jack.
Kate,
Got the
Jack's
mustache,
cooking
the
dinner tonight.
smile,
Why don't
the
you join us?
hair, the turtleneck. Jesus. Ah, he's gonna go visit the LARPers. He's gonna go visit the LARPers. So this is why he's not actually interested in actually doing any LARPing. He just needs his suit back. Kind of a letdown, honestly. I honestly would have actually loved to see Clint being a secret, like LARPer, like it being like a guilty pleasure or something.
When is it over?
midnight.
All the way till
Yeah, that's
midnight.
not-
Whoa!
it's just gonna
Damn,
take
that's a long time to LARP.
Hey, most of those folks out there are firefighters and cops.
Oh, so she knows he's Hawkeye. He's an Avenger. Yeah, he fights hard. Yeah.
What are the rules?
Oh, he's gonna get in. He gonna get into it. Oh, he's gonna get into it.
Yeah, no thank you.
Email,
That's classified.
That's classified.
title, organization.
Yeah. Let me just sign it. No.
Just Clint Barton, no affiliation.
So, your store details your character's mission.
Oh, what kind of character is gonna be? What kind of
Beginners only
class?
get one free hit.
That's who you are now.
Okay.
Who is he? What is he?
Wait. Your armaments.
Oh, he gets armor. He gets body armor at least,
Helmet.
and a helmet. Oh, he gets a full-on helmet with a wig. So he has to fight his way over to Ronin. He has to fight his way over to the actual Ronin LARPer. He's gonna nail this. He's an Avenger. He's gonna nail this. Just dodging, weaving, some light taps here and there. Just, oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, go. Oh. Oh, okay. That guy's fully into it. That guy's fully into it. Oh, yeah. Is he gonna end up actually enjoying this? Is he actually gonna end up actually enjoying LARPing? Like, it's like avenging, but just a lot more casual, a lot more carefree. Yeah.
Whoa, I'm a Viking. I'm really a Viking.
I don't care. I could take this pretend sword, and you pretend to die, and I take that suit. Or I'm gonna real punch you, and you're gonna real fall down, and I take that suit.
Oh gosh. Okay.
You're a superhero in real life. Just work with me. Let me kill you.
Is he gonna fulfill his dreams? Killing an Avenger.
I fought Thanos. All right, cool. Just make it quick.
Oh god, he winced.
Make it look real. We gotta have trial by combat.
Oh, try back up. He has to actually, he has to put some effort into it. Oh god. Oh. Cling. Cling, cling, cling. Oh, jeez.
You ready?
I'm begging you.
Oh, he got Hawkeye. He got Hawkeye. Thanos is laughing in his grave.
This has been like the best day of my life.
I can't say the same.
I mean, you did have fun, right?
You enjoyed it a little bit, like a guilty pleasure. Yeah, like a guilty pleasure. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Clint?
Yeah. It's it's
I'm Grills.
yeah.
Nice to meet you, Grills.
It's totally his guilty pleasure. Yeah, LARPing is totally his guilty pleasure.
Clear things up with the old tracksuit, friends.
Jesus, not those idiots.
Oh, even Laura knows about them. Okay. Oh, well, she knows about his enemies. Yeah.
What's the play?
Little catch release.
One of Nat's old moves.
Yeah.
Be careful.
They both miss her. They both miss her. She was family and friend to them both.
You're almost too good to be true.
Vera Farmiga in a blazer too? Is this show trying to kill me? Is it really trying to kill me?
I'm not.
God damn.
Defense?
A double.
Do you stab her?
Worn epee, foil, or saberman.
Oh.
Got a
You know your stuff,
okay. She looks good in a turtleneck. Vera Farmiga looks great in a turtleneck,
I was a
and the
two-time
blazer
state
thing.
champion.
It works for her.
Good with all the outdated weapons. I'd say it made me pretty aware when someone is trying to stab you in the back.
Okay, honey, be careful. When am I not careful? I was talking to Jack.
Ah, yeah. Be careful of her. She's very skilled.
What are you hiding, Jack?
I'm an open book. Right, darling?
Oh, he saw that coming a mile away.
She tried to stab you in the face.
No, I knew he would parry. What I was trying to do was prove that he is lying, which I successfully did.
I'm gonna go change.
I cannot believe you.
How many people get murdered by a sword each year in New York? I'm gonna go ahead and guess 0.
How many swords are there in New York?
Just remember, I'm
Besides from the fake ones in LARPing.
Okay, can we just put all of this behind us? Okay, why don't you start by apologizing to Jack?
To that mustache, really?
Sorry for scaring you into telling the truth.
Smart as a whip, this one.
Yeah, I love
Would you
her.
like a
I
drink?
love her. I love her.
Butterscotch.
He was there. He was there. He got a candy from
Kate.
Armand's place.
Nothing.
Or does he know? Was that intentional? Was that fully intentional to be like, yeah, I know you know, and you know that I know. So now we know that we both know. I don't know. But that was creepy either way. Oh, gee. Oh, is he letting them take him? He's letting them take him. Wait, she wants him alive. Who wants him alive? Who wants him?
You know, sometimes back-to-back calls isn't the right move. In this case, it was.
I'm sorry. Clint Barton can't take your call right now.
Oh no. Who is that? Who was that? That was American. That was an American voice.
It's a nice place you got here. Not creepy at all.
Hey. You kid. I know you kid. So don't kid, okay? Because it was getting very hard to find place. No?
In the middle of Christmas, huh?
We converted into lock, so how can I get something better? Kiss to the side.
Look, guys, I'm not Kate Bishop.
No, he's definitely not Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop is not Guy.
Kate
Nah.
Bishop is guy in costume.
Wow. Can I speak to your manager? This is like talking to furniture. I came here.
I'm interrogating you right now, bro. We are now interrogating you, so look at us, okay?
I'm the shift manager.
Where is Kate Bishop?
I've never met her. Who you talking
Oh, she's about to drop in just now. She's about to drop in right now.
Bro, found her.
Oh, you found her, right? Yeah.
Oh wow!
Hello.
Didn't realize we were supposed to bring guns.
Yeah. A lot of guns. A lot of guns. Echo! That's Echo! She's using Echo location. She's using. Oh, that's Echo. That's Alakwa Cox. That's Echo. Hi! Go away. Oh, so she is deaf, so I think she, can lip read. Yeah, the very explicit mouth movement. So she is deaf as well. Okay. Oh, that's the end of it. Oh god, that's the end of it. Oh, ending off with Echo. Ending it off with Echo. Smart move. Very smart move. Very smart move. Okay. Is there anything at the end for this one? I don't think so. I do not believe so. No. No. But I'm still gonna let the credits run anyway. So now we have end credits. Now we actually have end credits. Okay. Okay. So yeah, yet another really fun episode. Yet another fun episode. So I think, yeah, I've got like a few story bits and bobs written down, but mostly just like different kind of tidbits from the episode that I really enjoyed, or little different kind of Easter eggs or whatever. But yeah, I mean, story wise, I mean, they're really kind of pushing forward at like a pretty comfortable pace and everything. Actually, somewhat further exploring the Tracksuit Mafia and everything, and even Kate's kind of even Kate's analysis that, like, oh, it's kind of on the nose, but you know what? It's their choice, it's their name. They're the Tracksuit Mafia, no one else is Tracksuit Mafia, and that's also by choice. So there's that. So they explored them a little bit. But I think he really did kind of push forward the whole kind of idea that, she is really kind of not ready for this shit. I think like no matter how much or how hard she's trained, I think, it's like, especially a case of like, she's like taking, I mean, sure, she's taken years of all these things. Like, she's a black belt in various martial arts. She's, like a very well practiced archer, and she's a great acrobat and all these different things. But then, like, she is coming up against the worst of well, at least, I mean, I don't even know if the Tracksuit Mafia would count as the worst of the worst, but he did kind of push forward to make a point that, like as Ronin, he did, like, I mean, he didn't even actually like unveil himself to be the Ronin, but he did say like the guy who was the Ronin, he made like a lot of enemies in the space of 5 years, so. It was him, and that was him going across the world too, like not just him tackling New York's underground criminal kind of underworld or anything, but it was actually him going around the world and actually tackling as many as he could, and potentially even all of them. So he had made enemies with all the survivors and all that remained, and even the ones that came, and especially like the ones that came back afterwards, that found all their people dead and their bases burned or whatever. Like, he made enemies of them too. So like her actually like running around in like a Ronin suit, doing all that stuff is gonna literally attract a lot more danger than she's actually prepared for, because she probably is like prepared for like a few people at a time, but then highly likely not the full on onslaught of wave after wave of gangsters and mobsters and people who really really badly want to pick a bone with Ronin for messing with their business and even burning their business down. So he has made a point to kind of say, like, she's not ready for that level of danger yet, and she's really not ready to deal with the severity of the consequences of Ronin's kind of intervention in crime post blip and everything. So, and I think their dynamic already works so well. Their dynamic together, like their chemistry together, works incredibly well, and that's thanks to both Haley and Jeremy as well. But I think like their dynamic as it just, I mean, it kind of screams buddy cop kind of duo and everything, but at the same time it's like it just has that kind of like good old classic kind of apprentice mentor kind of relationship that kind of has that kind of like it's like it has that kind of classic, like, I mean, I didn't even know like what the actual unique term for it is, but it's like the actual kind of like mentor and apprentice dynamic, but actually molded into the kind of buddy cop comedy kind of relationship where, so she is the budding and ever so slightly overachieving kind of apprentice, and then she's the and then he's the kind of the tired, worn out, and just already done with this shit kind of a mentor who just wants to go home and rest and relax a bit. And actually in this context, he wants to spend Christmas with his family, as he feels like he should be doing, but then he's now pulled back into this by an overachieving kind of young adult who insists on trying to be the next Hawkeye and stuff. So so yeah, I think they very briefly kind of explored her kind of fangirling mentality over Hawkeye too, like Hawkeye being in her apartment, Hawkeye being in her place, and even her wanting him to sign her bow as well. She actually wanted him to sign her bow, because I didn't even know if that would show up. Like, I mean, because like you could probably write on the handle, but then I mean, I think especially like that being like a black or brown bow, like, you wouldn't really, unless she had the right kind of color pen for it. I think I'm not really sure how well it would show through, or like I think like signing a bow, I mean, or you could just sign like the curve of the bow, like that's flat enough to sign it, so that you could sign that. But either way, her being a proper fangirl, she wanted her to him to sign a bow, and she even actually made a point to say that he was her favorite Avenger, he was her favorite one. I mean him literally saving her life, I think has like a lot to do with it as well. I think because, like, no shade to Hawkeye, literally no shade to Hawkeye. I think truth be told, right, I think there is a lot of appreciation that can go towards and come from seeing a regular human being being an archer and also being like an Avenger too, because I think the Avengers are known for being a group of superheroes, but then it's like, you know, like when you look at what the definition of a superhero is, I think that's where some people also might get divisive, because then some people say that, you know, like even Batman with no powers and Hawkeye with no powers could easily be superheroes because of the fact that they dress up and do all this stuff and they train themselves to actually take on more than a regular human can handle, and they regularly intervene in all of these kind of dangerous situations. I think that makes them a superhero. But then other people will be like, you know, no, like, you know, people like Superman or Captain America or Spider-Man, like they would be superheroes because they have powers, they have actual enhancements that make them, you know, kind of able to transcend human limitations and actually make them do things that regular human beings literally can't do, no matter what kind of training they have. So I think some people get divisive, other people kind of, you know, enjoy superheroes as they come. Like, oh yeah, they're good. Like I think, you know, like I think from what I can see, like from what I've seen, like a lot of people are happy to actually still accept like someone even without powers, but someone still with training and with the right kind of drive and mentality to actually be a superhero and everything. So, you know, I think because of that, it's like, you know, like the Avengers are known for being superheroes, but then it's like, you know, it's also very easy to see that, you know, like not as many people really dress up. I mean, you know, like not as many people actually dress up as Hawkeye or Black Widow, but then it's like, you know, like Tony, who has no powers, but he has the suit that can emulate various kinds of powers and everything. He has a suit that's constantly evolving, and it can always build itself up to be something more, and it can make him do amazing things. And you got Thor, who's a literal god of thunder and stuff, and, you know, many a people's fantasy. So you got him, you got Cap, you got Hulk, and yeah, like they even had Avengers impersonators. They even had Avengers impersonators in, I don't know if that was Times Square or something, because I think I'm more used to seeing Times Square at night when the lights are up and people are, you know, busy that way. But then I'm assuming that was Times Square, or maybe some remnant of it, or something reminiscent of it. But either way, they were in some kind of Times Square or Town Square or something, and there were Avengers kind of impersonators, and I think even like some girl dressed as Black Widow, and then Clint just passes her off as Katniss Everdeen. So they got Hunger Games in the MCU, so there's that. But there were actual Avengers impersonators. There was like some dude dressed up as Ant-Man. There was Captain America. There was Iron Man. There was a woman dressed as Hawkeye. There was just like a bunch of different kind of heroes and everything. So that was cool to see. So I mean, yeah, I mean, again, the Avengers exist. I think the Avengers definitely exist as merchandise too. I think there's been Captain America t-shirts. There's been, you know, action figures too. Like the literal pilot episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually showed off the Avengers being action figures in it, like inside of a comic book store or something. So, you know, first battle in, afterwards, like there's already kind of thing, and even Ant-Man. I mean, literally going from Scott not even being recognized as Ant-Man in Endgame to now people actually like to impersonators themselves actually dressing up as Ant-Man to take pictures with kids. That is a glow up. That is a glow up. Like, Scott should see that. Scott should be able to I think we should have a scene in Ant-Man 3 where Scott walks through Times Square and he literally sees someone dressed as Ant-Man, and then, you know, like he gets a picture. He gets a picture with Ant-Man. Ant-Man gets a picture of that man. That would be the biggest glow up. That would be the biggest glow up. So, you know, I want that to. I actually really badly want that to happen now. I actually really badly want that to happen. Like he just like happens to be walking through Times Square or something, and he actually comes across the group of people, and he's like, oh hey, yeah, I fought with these guys. I'm Ant-Man, and then he actually out from behind the crowd, Ant-Man actually like some guy dressed up as Ant-Man shows up, and he's like, oh no way, you're dressed as me, and then they actually take a picture and everything. That would be really cool. It'd be really cool, and again, just a glow up, just a hell of a glow up. So make it happen, Marvel. Make it happen. So yeah, so you got Avengers impersonators, and I think the one thing that surprised me, because I mean I could also just as easily be forgetting this, but I think one thing I actually don't know if I actually knew before, or if I actually came across this information before, but Disney exists. Disney plainly and very explicitly, like behind them was like a very, very big kind of Disney logo above like on some kind of building, like probably some kind of Disney store or Disney like center or something. Like it was actually like in plain sight. In plain sight, it was actually like a, you know, you'd have to blink a lot of times in order to miss it. Like in plain sight was the Disney logo on the front of a store, so, or on the front of a building. So Disney in itself, Disney exists in the MCU. I think that raises like a lot of questions and stuff, you know, because I mean, we know that Star Wars exists. We know that Star Wars exists in the MCU. Being like Disney, I think to what extent does Disney exist to what extent does Disney exist in the MCU? Does Disney exist as like being the parent company of all these different kind of places? Like, I mean, Star Wars exists, I think, in the Disney universe. Does Disney still own Star Wars, or is it like its own independent thing? Like, does a sequel trilogy exist in the Star Wars universe? I mean, I'm almost afraid to ask that question because I know there's so many people who would have very divisive opinions on that, but I mean, this is only natural, but still, I mean, the way some people can, you know, really get divisive about those opinions is just really something else. So I'm almost afraid to ask that question. But I mean, yeah, like to what extent does Disney actually exist? Because I'm hoping the Disney classics exist and that stuff. I mean, whether or not the remakes exist is up to them. But I think, you know, you gotta have the animated classics of Disney in the universe too. But then you like Star Wars exists, but then is it owned by Disney in the MCU? And I think we know Disney owns Marvel Studios too. At least in our world, Disney owns Marvel Studios. So I think are they gonna make that a thing, like where some movie studio get like maybe not Marvel Studios specifically, or maybe like some kind of knockoff version of it or something in the MCU, where like a movie studio gets launched that actually starts making movies, and maybe even in this particular context, because the heroes actually exist in this universe in the context of the MCU, that new studio actually starts making autobiographies on those, or biopics rather, but they actually start making biopics of these heroes. So like Captain America: The First Avenger, that becomes an actual movie. The Avengers, like these movies become movies, but then, you know, they're also partially like documentaries or like biopics or something. So they actually start making movies based on these heroes. I think that would be the most meta thing that the MCU has done. The MCU, you know, starts making movies of its own movies within the. Oh god, that would be absolutely meta. That would be and the good meta, not the recent Zuckerberg style meta, but. Yeah, no, but that would be mind blowing. That would actually be mind blowing. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, did Disney exist? Disney exists. I mean, they gotta have Disney World. They gotta have Disneyland. You know, they gotta have the actual kind of resorts and the actual kind of tourist landmarks and everything. And then they gotta have the movies. They gotta have the merch, and you know, they gotta have Disney Channel. And you know, did they have Disney Plus? like again, this raises questions. What do they have and what do they don't have? To what extent does the Disney kind of franchise and the Disney universe actually exist within these movies? Because I mean, I'm trying to think of any other Easter eggs or references they might have made that would signify any other properties exist. Because I think Star Wars is the main one, but then there's no clue in this as to whether or not like the sequel trilogy exists in this, or even if Star Wars is actually owned by Disney in this universe. So I don't know. I feel like on the other hand too, like that is the barest, most briefest kind of glimpse and sign that Disney exists. But then it's like they're not really delving in. Like it's literally just the logo being in the background that confirms Disney exists in the MCU. But it's not going like, oh, like they were walking past. They were solely walking past a group of people dressed as Avengers. They weren't walking through an entire crowd of people dressed like, you know, Disney characters like Elsa, or you know, even dressed as people from The Lion King, or animals from The Lion King, or even dressed as Toy Story characters. You know, like none of that stuff was happening. So there's no actual full, you know, way to know yet exactly to like how much they exist, but they exist like Disney exists in the MCU. So talk about a self-insert. So yeah, that would be insane. I think a really cool Easter egg would be showing us that not only does Disney Plus exist in this universe, but have it open, or have a scene in one of the future episodes where we see like maybe Clint and Kate actually like reeling back and actually relaxing from a mission, but then Clint is maybe taking a nap, or he's cooling himself off with ice packs or something, and then Kate is watching The Simpsons on Disney Plus. Have Kate be watching The Simpsons on Disney Plus, or actually just watching something on Disney Plus. That would be the coolest and most furthest, like most expansive kind of Easter egg you could actually pull. So like I think that then would actually like signify, oh, so like we're that far in to the Disney kind of expansion kind of timeline. So like they like knowing we're that far in, so there's always the possibility that they have Star Wars in their universe the way that the way it exists in ours. Like they have all these movies, they have Disney Plus, they have a streaming service now, they have all these things. So I think that would be so I mean I think again the only thing more meta than that would be actually creating like a knockoff of the MCU within the MCU, and then actually having them create like biopics and different docudramas or whatever of the Avengers and of the different heroes in the MCU. That would be that is actually cool. I think like the simplest Easter egg, but then it raises so many questions. So Disney exists in the MCU. Disney exists. So yeah. And I think there's a small chance we might have just discovered Clint's new guilty pleasure, which is LARPing. It's LARPing. So I mean, to be fair, I think thinking back to the trailer, besides from Clint actually engaging in LARPing, like I mean him actually play fighting, like there were no scenes of him actually laughing or grinning or jumping or actually actively hopping along. But it was like actually like just clips of him actually engaging and actually him doing sword play and sword moves and stuff like that. So I think besides from that, there was no, hint that he actually, enjoyed it, but just the fact that he was actually doing it. So I think truth be told, I think maybe actually expecting him to enjoy it right off the bat was a bit too much. But then with this one, again, it's like, like desperate times call for desperate measures. He signs up, he puts his name down, he apparently gave them his credit card info and stuff, so he can temporarily join them. But then it's because like there's like a firefighter who just so happened to actually be a LARPer as well. He saw the Ronin suit and he was like, I gotta get me that Ronin suit. Like that's like a ninja suit right there. It looks badass. It's gonna look formidable in battle in the middle of LARPing and everything. So he said he's gotta have that. Something. And I think I don't even like. I think legally speaking, I think I'm not even sure how that would actually work. Because I think like he's essentially stealing kind of clothes, and he's essentially taking like I think because like the suit clearly didn't burn down either. So it's like it's not damaged. I think but then surely it would count as evidence as for who lived there or something, or like it would count as evidence in some way. So then him actually nicking that and actually taking it for himself, I feel like it's actually like it probably could be against the law. It should be against the law. I think maybe. Because maybe if it was actually damaged, then that would be a sign. But then I think the fact that it wasn't damaged, I don't know if that means it's like free picking, or maybe it's like he just kind of, I don't know, maybe he just saw an opportunity and he went for it or something. So I don't know, but either way, he definitely did see an opportunity and he definitely did take it. So he was actually enjoying LARPing. He was enjoying LARPing in like medieval times as a ninja and stuff. So he's all about like diversity and all that stuff. So he enjoyed LARPing as Ronin and everything. And then Clint shows up and he's just so done with all this already. I think I love that he wasn't like overly judgmental. Like he wasn't like really judgmental at all. Like I think he really did seem like the kind of like if this is your thing, by all means enjoy it. It's your life. Do whatever you want. But and then like him, it's like he personally, it like didn't really but like vibe with it straight off the bat. Like it took some time. And it actually took some wearing down and stuff. But he definitely didn't really use that as like an excuse to bash it or like to judge others or like to criticize them or like to be like oh, you're wasting your time. This is all fake or any of that kind of stuff that you sometimes hear from people. Like he genuinely did have that kind of attitude of like if this is what you want to do with your time, by all means go for it. I'm not going to judge. It's your life, and like fantasy can be cool and all that kind of stuff. So do whatever you want. But he literally was just there for the suit. He literally was just there for the suit. So he just wanted that. So I think that much was actually kind of nice to see. And I think it's like fairly kind of common like throughout that kind of media as well to actually have people like mocking people, like actually chastising them for being into LARPing or roleplay or cosplay or whatever and stuff. So to actually see like a presentation of it that actually shows like a fairly kind of carefree and fairly kind of like careless kind of attitude to it is actually somewhat more refreshing and actually neutral to see too. I mean he spent years dressing up in his own costume. I mean, albeit he was actually doing the real thing. He was actually fighting and he was even actually mentioned that in the thing too, because I think the guy actually wanted the honor of actually being able to actually kill Hawkeye in front of a crowd and actually claim that honor too. And he's like, and then Clint's thing being like, I fought Thanos and now I'm about to pretend lose to a regular human civilian. So that was that whole thing. But I think he spent years dressing up in his own costume, but he was doing the real things. I think he kind of like, I think for him, I mean, I don't know, I think I was kind of, I don't know, I mean, I was half expecting there to be a thing where it's like, like, this isn't real, cause like, I mean, I was half expecting there to be a thing where it's like, like he just kind of told him like, like, this isn't real, like, I'm Hawkeye, I've actually fought the real battles and I've walked away with cuts and bruises and scratches and I've actually fought the real thing and I've lost people, and to be like that. But then I think deep down he also knows that, like this is just kind of this isn't really meant to be like any kind of like that deep of like an imitation and that kind of stuff. Like LARPing is pretty much like an escape for many people. So like, like the people doing it are literally not trying to mock or cause harm. So like, I think again he just went into it with the most carefree, most kind of accepting kind of attitude he could possibly have. But because he wanted to get in, get the suit, and then get out, and then literally leave them to it. He just wanted to leave them to it. So so yeah, but I did love his kind of little kind of like comeback of like yeah, and I fought Thanos and now I'm about to lose to this. I'm about to lose in this in the most kind of imagined kind of scenario possible. So yeah, but he was a good sport. He did let the guy kill him. He did let the guy kill Hawkeye. He did let the other guy dressed as Ronin kill Hawkeye. So there's that. I think kind of makes you wonder. I can't lie. It kind of makes you wonder if Ronin were to travel back in time to one of the early years. Like, would Ronin be able to kill Hawkeye? Because I think Hawkeye knows how to kill. I think that was it. I think Ronin is just a Hawkeye that doesn't hold back. Like, Hawkeye definitely knows how to kill. He is a master assassin. He's not just a spy. He's not just an archer. He's a master assassin. So Ronin is essentially just like a Hawkeye who holds himself back and doesn't kill as viciously or as brutally. So it does make me wonder, who would actually win in a fight between Ronin Barton and Hawkeye Barton, like, and actually like who would actually beat the other in like a fight like that. So I don't know. It's just like an interesting kind of concept to think about. So yeah. But I think by the end of it, he did bode well enough in his fight against Grills, the guy who stole the costume, and then Grills was being ever so slightly cheeky towards the end of me, like, admit it, you enjoyed it a little bit, you enjoyed it just a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I did kind of like that. Like, I think the truth be told too, I think he did I think he was following the rules. He was following the rules as he actually went through person by person, but then he also did engage in it too. He actually did block it and weave and dodge and do some hits and stuff. And he's like, I think he was partially kind of bouncing back and forth between, oh my god, this isn't even real, just hit me and get it over with. And part of him was like, actually using his own kind of battle reflexes and his own muscle memory to actually dodge actual attacks if they were coming. And that kind of thing. So I think his muscle memory, like bringing out those reflexes, actually made him kind of feel more like he was a part of the thing, and then he ended up enjoying it because of that too. And I think actually doing this kind of thing more casually and in like a much less kind of consequential way kind of also proved to be kind of fun too. Like it could even prove to be fun to him. So I at least hope that the ending of this series, I'm hoping that the ending of this season shows him actively and enthusiastically actually going back to check out LARPing again and being like, you know what, I actually do want to actually have another crack at this and actually now show you people what I'm really made of, so you can actually be wary to actually watch out for me in the future now too. So I do hope the end of the season. I hope the end of the season at least has him actually like going there. I think, if there's some kind of like final battle in the finale, if there's some kind of actual final fight or final battle or something in the finale, then maybe he actually calls on the LARPers to help him, and they come through and like they don't kill anyone, but then like maybe they actually, like, he calls on them to help him try and win a fight or something. That would be the coolest fucking thing. Like if he actually ends up calling on the LARPer community of New York City to actually help him and Kate to win some kind of fight against the Tracksuit Mafia or against someone else or something. I mean, I mean, he wouldn't. On the one hand, he would not willingly endanger citizens. Like he would never try and do that. But then I think it would still be cool if he actually told Kate like backup was on the way, or that he called for backup, and then all of a sudden you just see like a whole army of like LARPers running in with swords and shields and shit, and actually just fucking everyone up. That would be the coolest thing. So either that, or Clint revisiting New York, or even actually, finding someplace else closer to home if that's possible. But actually revisiting the LARPer community, but this time actually doing it with an open mind and actually exploring it like genuinely for the first time, and actually finding that he's actually okay with it and he actually enjoys it and stuff. So yeah, Clint Barton and LARPing. So yeah, that's fun. And a tidbit I really loved, a tidbit I really enjoyed: Nathaniel and Clint using sign language. They use sign language. Clint and Nathaniel, at least those two use sign language. They actually use sign language to communicate, at least a little bit. I think because they can still talk, but then they still use it a little bit. And I think he signed "I love you." I can't remember exactly how it went. But he signed "I love you," and then Clint signed "I love you too," and everything. So he actually signed. So that is like a really sweet thing to see. It's a really kind of cool. It's a really cool thing to see, and it's good that they actually like even at least like bit by bit. Because again, like Clint is, I think he's here. I think Clint would be kind of like, he would at least MCU Clint would count as like hearing impaired. So I think he can still hear, but then of course like the impairment means that he often does then actually kind of like rely mostly, he does then like rely at least partially maybe on like lip reading and occasional sign language too. So and he's even taught his kids too. He's even actually taught his kids, or at least he's taught Nathaniel and stuff. So Nathaniel kind of uses that to sign, like he uses it to sign when he thinks his dad might not understand otherwise, or maybe if he just wants to actually go that mile further, then he actually signs "I love you" and everything. So I'm just, oh god, it makes me feel things. It makes me feel things like feels and everything. But that is honestly the sweetest thing. It's honestly really the sweetest thing and stuff. And to see that being in play is a really cool thing too. So again, if you haven't checked this out, if you haven't watched this, go and watch it. It's amazing. It's an incredible movie. It's easily in my top 5 of Marvel movies overall. Easy one of the best Marvel movies I've ever watched. If you haven't watched it, go check it out now. I'm pretty damn sure it's still in theaters, so go check it out now. But yeah, no, it's really great that they've actually incorporated that. I'm sincerely kind of, I think now I'm actually I think for the first time, I'm actually genuinely looking forward to seeing Clint Barton as a character. I'm actually genuinely looking forward to more stories with Clint Barton, more stories of him as an actual person, and more stories centered around him, and actually and like Clint Barton as well, because I think we've had Hawkeye. I think we've had Hawkeye for God knows how long. Like all pretty much all throughout the MCU, we've had Hawkeye. Now I think this show is giving us a look at Clint Barton, the man behind the bow, the man behind the archer and everything. So he hasn't even really done like that much archery, has he? I think he hasn't even really shot like a single arrow so far. Like the arrows have been solely shot by Kate, who is constantly kind of showcasing her talents and everything, which she should. And stuff. But with Clint, it's like now I think this show is Clint's chance to officially be a person and to be an actual human being and everything. So they are going to great lengths, and I think incredibly appropriate lengths to actually showcase like just how much of a person he actually is, with his own struggles, with his own past, with his own history and everything, and with his own problems and everything. So it's really cool to actually see them, and as a result of that, to actually see them incorporating more of his actual kind of comic book counterparts kind of traits and his kind of lifestyle and his kind of story and everything. So seeing Clint becoming more of that is not only really cool, but it's also I actually do really want to check out the Hawkeye comics, and actually see the comics that this series is actually adapted from too, to see what Clint and Kate are like in that story. So yeah, they're doing a great job so far. So Clint and Nathaniel using sign language is again easily one of the best things. So Yeah, and I think yeah, I mean again, I'm kind of assuming that he does use a mixture of sign language and also lip reading and stuff, and I think again his hearing, like I think, because I think even his hearing, like again, he only has the hearing aid in one ear. I think that's the one he can actually hear out of well enough. So I think that one ear might be the one that, you know, because I think hearing, I mean, yeah, like, because I think, especially like when they were walking down the town square too, Kate was initially walking on his right side, but then he actually moved over to the left and said, "Oh, it's like hearing aid, like this is this is the ear I can hear through." So, so the thing, hearing aids. I mean, again, I'm not entirely sure exactly how hearing aids work. Like, I think, 'cause the thing, if one ear doesn't work, but then you put it in the one ear that does work, I think maybe it kind of amplifies that ability. Like, it amplifies your working ears ability to hear, maybe, or something. And I'm gonna have to look up how hearing aids actually work and stuff. But yeah, so like he uses like the hearing aid in like that one ear, so I think maybe he can actually only hear through that ear or something. So there's that, but so I think he, again, hearing impaired, so like not fully deaf, but he can, like, you know, like it's, you know, still like a problem, and he still like needs kind of other forms of communication to be able to actually, you know, communicate properly. So either way, it works, and it works well. So there's that, but something else I was gonna mention. And yeah, like, even of course, even like Kate actually asking him why he actually has Kate asking him why he has a hearing aid now. And then like it actually, I think I was fully expecting it to show some kind of actual head injury or some kind of ear injury where he was like he was hit by an explosion or hit by some kind of some kind of loud bang, or he was hit by something. And I mean, it's not technically untrue. It's not untrue. Just the actual truth is, it's just years and years of constant battle, years of him jumping through windows and being blown apart, blown back by explosions and falling down holes, and him like even like Avengers and, you know, probably Age of Ultron, not Infinity War, because he wasn't in Infinity War. Just like pretty much all the battles he's had alongside the Avengers. All the battles he's had with the Avengers, and all the damage he's taken from those battles has eventually kind of taken a toll on him, and now his hearing. So I mean, all that, and I mean, I think part of me feels like normally you'd expect something like, you know, oh, broken bones or bruises or like, you know, hip like fractures or like any actual kind of like other physical things, but then I think, you know, like hearing impairment also, I guess also, because I think he is constantly surrounded by explosions and gunfire and yelling and screaming and shouting. I mean, you know, I think it's incredibly believable that your ears especially would actually take the brunt of any of that kind of damage after all those years. I think eventually his hearing, like, you know, did literally just, you know, take the brunt of that kind of damage, and it took a toll on him, and then eventually he needed a hearing aid. So yeah, I think in the comics, I mean, I think it wasn't actually in the comics I read it, but I think I did see someone mentioning on a forum that apparently Clint was actually born deaf, or like he was born hearing impaired. So I'm definitely gonna have to kind of check the actual sources on that, and actually check the comic books too, and actually see what the truth is there, and how valid that truth is, but how valid that information is even. But yeah, I think I should read something somewhere that he was actually born deaf in the comics, and then, you know, from like since childhood he's actually had a hearing aid and stuff, so he's grown up with that kind of impairment. So with this one, I think I think in this one, in that case, I think that then might make more sense. I mean, you know, whether or not it makes sense is is another discussion entirely. But I think I think then the MCU's kind of reason for not giving him one until now is because, you know, like it's actually been like a result of all the kind of built up kind of damage and trauma from all the battles he's fought, and that kind of and those battles actually taking a physical toll on him and stuff, and him eventually needing like different kind of things and stuff. I mean, so I do wonder like if he's had any other kind of operations or any other surgery to actually help fix any injuries, like if he actually has had stuff like hip replacement, or, you know, I don't know, just something. But I mean, so far I think you know, he has trained himself to actually be a master assassin, and he has trained himself to actually be very, very kind of, to have like high levels of endurance and everything. So the hearing aid is probably as worse, like as bad as it gets for him. So that's why he has a hearing aid. Just years of fighting with the Avengers, and years of being an Avenger, years of being a human Avenger, years of being a human Avenger have taken a toll on him, and now he needs a hearing aid. So And another thing that kind of struck me was Eleanor knowing about not Eleanor, what's it, Laura Barton, Clint's wife, and the mother of the Barton kids. She is like pretty much from her introduction in Age of Ultron, she was kind of shown to be someone who's fully aware that her husband is Hawkeye and that he's an Avenger, and and she knows all the other Avengers too. Like she literally tells them, like, I know all your names and everything. So she's fully aware of his avenging and his exploits and all that kind of stuff. But then even him being Hawkeye, him being Hawkeye outside of that, and actually like his exploits and the enemies he's built up to, like she knows about all of that too. Like even when he mentions the TSM, the Tracksuit Mafia, and the Tracksuit Mafia, and she's like, oh god, not those guys again. So like she knows about them. She probably knows about other enemies that he's defeated and even made as Hawkeye as well. So she I think, I think that is I think that's just like an example of like a couple that doesn't necessarily keep secrets from each other. And I think, like I honestly can't even tell if he's actually if he's telling her through venting, or if he's actually telling her because he kind of actually wants her to know, or or because she wants to know and she asks for something. So because I think he, again, like his line of work is not the safest, and I think like he's made it a point to Kate that like he's made way too many enemies as Ronin to let her safely masquerade around in the Ronin suit. But then he's still I think he still fairly openly tells his wife about the enemies he's made and stuff like that. So I think, I guess I think on the one hand too, I think it kind of makes her aware, and it makes her aware of like the people that could come looking for him, or the people that could come, doing this stuff. I think, I think she's made it very clear that she has no qualms whatsoever about him being an Avenger. She's made it, like legitimately clear that she is nothing but proud of him and his avenging and stuff. So I think because of that, she's even more curious and or understanding about the work he does, and that way like she gets to kind of stay up to date with who he fights and when he fights them, and all the enemies' names and everything. So seeing that kind of transparency between Clint and Laura is actually somewhat refreshing to see, and somewhat cool to see too, that their relationship is actually healthy enough where he can actually openly talk about his enemies and the exploits he has as Hawkeye to his wife and everything. So that's cool. And even him mentioning his old kind of spy I mean her actually asking him like, okay, so what's the next move, like what kind of spy move, or assassin move are you gonna move next to, are you gonna do next to actually try and catch these guys and stop them before people get hurt. And then he's like, I might do a catch and release and everything, and then she's like, oh, that was Nat's favorite move. So both of them. I mean, yeah, I think Nat was very, very deeply a family friend. She was a friend to him, and she was family to him and to his kids, and same thing goes for Laura too. So, and I think initially the baby, I think them thinking the baby was gonna be born a girl. They were gonna, back when they thought the baby was gonna be a girl, she was gonna be named Natasha, but then they found out, oh, it's actually gonna be a boy instead, and it's like, oh, gonna be Nathaniel instead. So, she, again, like a very, very deep family friend, and she, likely helped them out a lot, and she kind of helped keep Clint safe during battle so that he could actually return to his family at the end of the day too. So Natasha holds a very special place in both Clint and Laura's hearts, and in the hearts of their family too. So I do wonder just how much memory just how much of this series might be devoted to Natasha. I think story-wise and character-wise, I'm really curious as to how much of this how much of the show will be devoted to her and actually be made in honor of Natasha. I think because Yelena coming back is another thing entirely, but then she is also coming back for her sister. So then that's going to be like a very, very temporary dilemma they have to deal with. But then once they actually resolve that, it's going to be a case of like, oh, Yelena actually teams up with them and she helps them stop whoever they need to stop, and then things happen from there. But then in terms of them actually honoring Natasha's memory and actually having Clint honor her memory as a friend too, it's been years. It's been a couple of years, so you know, like that, it kind of brings into question like exactly what they're gonna do there. Like if they had like, I think we know, you know, Natasha has like an actual gravestone that Yelena visits, but then we have no idea if Clint has visited that, or if he even knows if there is one, or if he's actually maybe if he's made one on the farm that they live on, maybe if he's actually made one for their grounds and stuff, and maybe if him and his family like threw their own kind of mini funeral for Natasha like on their home, like an actual more personalized one. And stuff, like maybe if that happened, but hearing these references and actually seeing their reactions to actually her name and her existence and her kind of, you know, her life being brought up again is kind of making you wonder, like, you know, how far are they gonna go, how how much longer might they carry on for, like how far are they gonna go and what else are they gonna do with it and stuff. So, you know, yeah, I think at least for this first season, because I think this is officially our first time seeing Hawkeye back ever since Endgame, where he actually lost her. So then it kind of comes into question, like, you know, has he done anything to mourn her since, or, you know, like if not, then what does he plan on doing later on down the line? So, but yeah, so Laura knows about Clint's kind of tactics and his strategies and everything, and his enemies and everything. So that's cool. And then yeah, so Eleanor Bishop, she owns Bishop Security. So like her Kate's mother actually runs like an actual security company and everything. So I think, I mean, with the phone stuff being in place, I think I'm trusting it. I mean, with the phone stuff, I think with her using the app on the phone to track the car and track the phone rather, I'm trusting that it might be kind of mostly cybersecurity, but then I think with the house that she lives into, I think I'm kind of trusting maybe it's maybe it's a bit of both, maybe physical security and also cybersecurity. And I mean, cybersecurity can still kind of like electronic security systems that actually put like stuff into place and everything. So she runs Bishop Security and everything, and then her hope is that her daughter will then graduate from college and then actually join her in the family business and actually do that kind of stuff. And then Kate, I think it's been made, I think story-wise it's been made very clear that, you know, like especially like through dialogue, that, you know, like it's like, you know, oh, like for Eleanor, the way she sees it, it's their dream, but then the way Kate sees it, it's her dream exclusive. Like she wants her daughter to join, but then her daughter has other plans. And now with Hawkeye in the picture, I feel like her daughter has plans to actually become to become a young Avenger, to become a young adult, to become a young Avenger, to become a YA. So yeah, but I mean, truth be told, I think but even before Clint came along, like we didn't really get much of like an actual kind of future or like career plan or aspirational kind of perspective from Kate before Clint came along. So I think part of me feels part of me feels like they might kind of follow that trope of like young people kind of being like kind of like lost-ish in life, like not knowing exactly what they want to do and getting like a part-time job or getting something small to begin with until they actually figure out what they want to do with their lives later on down the line. But then with Kate, it's like, you know, like we didn't really get much of her. Like, I mean, she was still, I think she had just kind of like come home from college in the first episode. So then she was still kind of set to, I think, maybe go back and graduate and stuff. So that stuff was still happening. But then now it's like, now I think so. Then before then she was fine in college then, but then now it's like, now that Hawkeye's in the picture and he's in her picture and he's in her life and everything, I think she has like a much clearer idea of actually what she wants to do and who she wants to be and everything. So now like her overachieving mentality has now kind of propelled her to become the next Hawkeye. And especially with Clint now wanting to actually fully retire, you know, the world could probably still do with a Hawkeye and probably still do with a Hawkeye on the Young Avengers team. So yeah, that's and then we had some interesting stuff with Kate and Jack as well. Kate and Jack. So she kind of put his fencing skills to the test. And I think, yeah, I mean, anyone could see like with his fighting, with his maneuvering, like he was blocking and dodging a lot more than he was actually fighting. And then like with that kind of stuff, and even with his kind of cheery and, you know, like his cheery kind of casual dialogue too, and his delivery of said dialogue, like he clearly kind of was like letting her get away with it. He was actually letting her when he was actually going easy on her and stuff. And I was kind of afraid that in the end he would actually fight back properly, and then that would actually knock her over and actually terrify her and stuff. And then he'd be like, you know, that's what I. And then he'd be like, you know, well, this is what I'm like when I'm actually fighting. Like, do you still want me to keep fighting like this, or do you finally accept that you're like no match for me, or something along those lines? So, but no, he actually did. Like he did. I think part of me also thinks that, you know, like I think, you know, I think part of me also kind of feels like maybe he actually is kind of wanting to pass Kate off as this kind of constantly kind of cynical and suspicious kind of like young woman, I mean, he probably would see her as a teenager or something, but then like he's trying to pass her off as this cynical and suspicious and like that kind of young adult and everything. But then like, you know, I think he also hasn't fully made the connection yet that she actually knows about Armand's murder, and she was like there to see the aftermath of it and everything. So there's that whole thing. But then he also like I think he just so obviously seems like the kind of guy who's keeping secrets, and he so obviously seems like the kind of guy who's, you know, like evil, and he has ulterior motives, and he's gonna end up being like a threat to her and Kate, to Kate and her mother eventually, and he's gonna be that kind of obvious bad guy and everything. But still, I think the actor still does a good enough job of actually keeping you on your toes about him, and actually still kind of making you kind of feel weary and creeped out by him and everything. So, you know, he still does a good job in that sense, and especially that ending scene too. That ending scene of him actually bringing out the butterscotch candy, too, like the very specific Armand the third butterscotch candy. And I think, especially the fact that he didn't even seem to react to her kind of hastily leaving the office after that scene too. I think he seemed very, very calm and collected about that. So I think that then made me wonder, like, is he so good that he's actually hiding his he's actually hiding it behind candy, like him giving her candy is deliberate, and it's actually his way of telling her, like, you know, I know you were there, I know you're the Ronin, and I know you were there, and I know you know that I was responsible for killing Armand. So like maybe like that's his way of saying, or maybe maybe he really is just kind of like, you know, maybe it's like, you know, maybe he knows something but he doesn't know everything. So then he's hinting that he's onto her, and he's actually keeping a watchful eye on her, and he's actually waiting for her to slip up in the future and actually give him exactly what he needs to get her in trouble and everything. So, you know, he's just he's a very slippery character so far. He's very, very he's appropriately slippery, and he's very, very kind of like he's very, very kind of cautionary, and he's very someone you know, you as a character and as an audience member need to keep your eye on. So he's definitely got that whole thing going for him. So that's and I think I kind of like the I kind of like the idea of Clint having Kate's kind of number in his phone, but then also Kate kind of actually ringing the number from his phone to her phone to make sure that she has a number, and then him actually trying to make a statement and trying to actually, you know, emphasize the point of, like, you know, only for emergency. If you prank call me, or so, you know, so help me God, butt dial me, so help me God, I will block your number and delete you. And I think, you know, the thought of being blocked by Hawkeye of all people is just one of the most like amusing things in the world to me. Like the thought of actually being blocked and deleted by him, actually, like, I think, because in my mind, like, I think I went as far as thinking, like, in my mind, I went as far as thinking, like, you know, oh, imagine being blocked by Hawkeye on Twitter, but then out loud it's just like, oh, like, imagine being blocked and like having your number blocked and deleted by Hawkeye because you accidentally butt dial him, or you kind of call him when you run out of something or something. So, you know, then he gave I think it's kind of reminiscent. I mean, maybe conceptually reminiscent of Carol giving Nick her like the upgraded pager so that he could call her, and then but then only in emergencies too. Like, he couldn't call her every time for like something went wrong with his computer, or like he just needed some help like fixing something or something. But then like in case of like an actual emergency, like a worldwide disaster kind of thing, he could call her, which he did, and likely many times too. So there was that whole thing. But with this one, yeah, with this one it's like that, but on like a much smaller scale. So that's really still kind of really cool to see. So then, you know, like she has a number, so then she uses that in the taxi to actually track him later on, and stuff. So yeah, and I think, I mean, even the way he gave up to the Tracksuit Mafia in the end too, I think it definitely felt like he was actually, like, he was actively giving into, because he didn't even fight back, and he just kind of feigned some pseudo or semi kind of pain at the kind of strike from the baseball bat and everything. So he kind of gave himself up, he gave in to actually try and get to, like, to actually get to the top and actually try and speak to their leader and everything, and try and like hash things out with them maybe. So I think definitely like he is absolutely like he is actually done with fighting too. I think like a big part of me feels like he wants this to be over in a way that like he hopes he can actually talk to whoever's in charge and maybe actually come to some kind of agreement or actually come to some kind of deal or something. So he's actually trying as hard as he can to be done with fighting because he wants to actually drop the fighting and actually be with his family now. So yeah, but then Kate comes in and she's all about the fighting. She's all about being ready for the battle. She's all about actually doing the battle and fighting the battle and everything. So she's very, very different from that. So when those two personalities mesh, you get an incredible series like this. So yeah, it's gonna be fun seeing how that actually progresses. And then at the very end too, we meet Alaqua Cox, aka Echo. So she is, I think she might have been listening to music. I think she had like a whole system of like some speakers and stuff, activated and everything, and she actually was kind of feeling over the beats of the actual kind of drum and everything, the actual speakers and stuff to actually kind of feel the vibrations and stuff. So I do wonder then maybe if she actually is like Daredevil, but then she still sees an echolocation. Because I think because Daredevil is blind, but then his eyes still look regular, like fairly kind of normal. Like his eyes like don't like look inherent. I think his eyes don't look inherently damaged, but then like his vision on the inside is actually still impaired in that way that he sees it, in the way that he sees it. So then I do wonder maybe if it's like the same case for Echo as well. Like maybe if like from the outside her eyes look normal, but then from the inside like her vision is actually distorted and her vision is actually like sonar or something. So. Or maybe if she can actually turn echolocation on and off, maybe she can if she can actually kind of like use that to hear when necessary. Because then, because then even like the way that the guy was talking to her at the end, like like we've captured, Barton and Bishop, or like him actually using his mouth to actually over enunciate the words and actually try and make it out like to like the way he was speaking. So then that would kind of imply that she uses lip reading to communicate as well. So then she definitely got that message and told him to piss off and everything. So. There was that, but I think with something like echolocation or even sonar, I think it like you probably couldn't really visualize the lips as easily. So then lip reading in that instance would probably be a bit more complicated. But either way, I am almost certain they'll explore her powers in the next episode very eloquently and very, very kind of fruitfully and very thoroughly. So I definitely look forward to seeing and hearing. Or just seeing, rather than I look forward to finding out exactly how her powers work and exactly how her hearing works and how her kind of echolocation works and how she works as a whole, and seeing if she really is in charge of the Tracksuit Mafia and seeing what's going on there. But yeah, it should be fun. It should be very, very fun. But yeah, I think in terms of initial thoughts and everything I've written down, that is pretty much me covering all my bases. I think it's a incredibly interesting story so far. I can't wait to see how it kind of progresses from here on out with Clint and Kate, and seeing how they deal with the Tracksuit Mafia and seeing what if they do manage to bar a deal with them, or if it does end up actually kind of engaging in conflict and everything. We've seen Frothy too. Frothy, he hasn't had many lines, but I think I've definitely recognized his face, especially from the D23 presentation that Kevin Feige did way back when for Disney for D23. I think it was when they actually when they announced the actual cast list for Hawkeye as well. I think Frothy was among them as like a member of the main cast. I think he hasn't really kind of had much, like he's had a bit of screen time, but he hasn't really had much to actually say yet. And I think even in that final scene, he was actually dressed like a bit more dapper than, well, not dapper, but he was dressed a bit more formally. And more like seriously than the rest of them were. So I think he kind of has like an actual bigger role to play as well. So him and Echo, I'm looking forward to seeing how they are explored in the upcoming episodes. So that'll be fun. Lucky as well. Lucky, he's Lucky seems to have taken a shine to Clint already. I think even in the comics, Clint and Lucky are actually incredibly close in the comics too. Like they are actually huge companions and friends and everything. So. Seeing that evolve over the season should be a really fun should be a really fun time. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Lucky evolves and how he further befriends both Kate and Clint and everything. So that should be fun. yeah, for the most part, I think that might be it. So so yeah, I think other stuff with the police. I think for now, Kate has like an appointment with the police in the morning before work, so now she's gonna go see that. So that's gonna be a thing too. But for the most part, I think that is actually it. So yeah, all my initial thoughts on Hawkeye episode number 2. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So that was Marvel's Hawkeye season 1 episode 2. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Hawkeye, and what you're looking forward to and who you're looking forward to seeing and what you think might happen in the rest of the season. Once again, the full-length reaction over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.